His last cut is 4-8, and they lost 8 of their last 9 games. But listen, my critique doesn't start with this year. I hear you, brother, but I'm at the games. Like, I really dig into football and look at every piece of it. So I'm a little bit more dug into this than you may be.
You know, I seen your recent post or whatever, and by the way, I got the ABE, American Black Enterprise merch on. Did you support a black-owned business today? But I got to go out and get that.
Oh, nice.
The number one question right there, and I got the hat all available in the store. Folks will hit me. I was like, man, hey, Damien, ain't that your boy? That's your guy? And I'm like, yeah, that's my nigga. Damien, yeah, that's my guy. You know, say, why he always dragging Deion? Why he always dragging Deion? What would be great if we had a public Discord. You know what I'm saying, about the situation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
I'm gonna just be straight up front, you know what I'm saying, with my biases or whatever. But I think he's been doing a phenomenal job, man. You know, like dealing with the kids and you know, being a positive role model. And honestly, you know what I'm saying, he kind of like brought me back into the football club.
So let me just say this: I like Deion. I do not dislike Deion. I am not a fan of Deion the coach.
Oh, okay.
Just because were a great player, that does not mean that you're going to be a great coach. Like, when we look at like Michael Jordan, the greatest player we've ever seen, was a horrible owner, a horrible GM. Magic Johnson tried to coach at one point. He was awful at it, right? So just because you're good at one part of a sport or industry doesn't mean that you're going to automatically be great on the other piece of it. And so for me, I'm critical, and I just try to provide critical, objective analysis of Deion the coach. And Deion the coach ain't as good as Deion the player, and that's the crux and the basis of the critiques that I offer for him.
I disagree with it. For him to be an awful coach, he wouldn't have had this opportunity at Colorado. I mean, he had success in the SWAC. He won. What was it, the championship like 2 years prior to the Colorado thing, which would garner him the opportunity at Colorado. How he's doing now, current, it's his first year. When he got there, he cleared out staff and players. These aren't his players that he's playing with. To say he's a bad coach based on this year alone, that would be disingenuous.
You remember that line in Outkast where they say you're only as funky as your last cut?
Well, his last cut was he won the SWAC conference.
No. Listen, his last cut.
I mean,
no.
Not over.
His last cut is 4-8, and they lost 8 of their last 9 games. But listen, my critique doesn't start with this year. My critique of him as a coach started at Jackson State. Like, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm sitting here watching Deion. Listen, Deion is a great recruiter because of his personality. So he was able to bring in way better talent than the SWAC had ever seen. So when you compile a lot of talent on one team, you don't necessarily have to be a good coach because you're just beating everybody because they have better talent. But I saw games. I hear you, brother, but I'm at the games. Like, I really dig into football and look at every piece of it. So I'm a little bit more dug into this than you may be. Deion has never won a bowl game. He's 0-2 in bowl games because he got out-coached. The first Celebration Bowl, they got beat by like 30 points. Okay, nobody wants to talk about that. The second Celebration Bowl, I was at myself, and he also got out-coached and lost in overtime. So if he's this great coach, why are you losing to teams with inferior talent?
So to your point, when you said that he can make he's a good recruiter, he didn't have, the talent that was brought to him from being a good recruiter doesn't necessarily mean that he has to coach them in order for them to have success. Well, on that token, you can look at Alabama right now. Compared to the last 5-10 years of them having success, they haven't won a national championship.
Nick Saban has had 16 straight 10-win seasons.
Okay, I'm talking about what you just said. Outkast. What have you done lately?
And he's won 6 national championships in the last 15 years, right? So
okay.
if he don't,
What
if he
did you
don't,
just say? You just
listen to
said
me,
that.
look, if he doesn't win the national championship, he's only going to lose 1 or 2 games. 2 games, a 2-game lost season for him is a
But
bad season.
his talent as a recruiter should get him national championship every year.
Listen, but
That's going off what you said.
Why are we talking about Nick Saban? We're talking about Deion Sanders and what his team
Because
has
we're
done.
comparing
No.
recruiting. That's what we're comparing. That's what I was comparing.
No, this conversation is about Deion and how he has performed as
That's
a coach.
just one aspect of it. We're not taking it away from.
You can't compare.
We're talking about the whole thing.
Deion Sanders in the 60 Minutes interview a couple months ago after they beat TCU, he said out his own mouth, "I am the best coach in college football." He said that. The media didn't create that. He said that out of his mouth. So when you say that as a coach, the standard for you is to show that you're the best coach in college football. And 4-8 is not indicative of the best coach in college football.
Nice. I mean, I'm not saying that he's elite as a coach or whatever. I mean, the last
what are you saying?
Game that I watched was.
So where do you disagree with me then?
I'm not understanding. I see the post, and I'm not understanding this harp on. Oh, he's doing bad. Oh, what do you say now? Do you say he's good now?
He ain't doing a good job, and we got to call it out. I don't care what color he is. We got to say he's doing a bad job.
I didn't say that either.
If you go to your job and have 8 bad days out of 9, they're gonna call you in and say, "Hey, let's have a conversation. You ain't doing a great job, brother."
Comparative to the last guy who was in that position.
No, we're not comparing it to the last guy.
Why not? That's the whole part of having a job. They're going to compare you to the last guy that they just fired.
So, do you want to compare yourself to mediocrity, or do you have a standard of greatness? What is it? What is it? So, if the last guy was a loser crackhead, that's what you can compare yourself to. Well, I'm not a crackhead, so I'm good. I'm better than him, right?
No, this season is not over. The story's not written.
The season's over, brother. This season is over. This season's done. It's been done for a while. They ain't won a game in 2 months. It's over, right? And so I think it's just about having an honest. Because listen,
I don't even like him that much because that whole situation that Jackson going to Colorado, I didn't like that situation, but I came to understand it. I mean, the part I didn't like about what Deion did at Jackson was the same thing he did when he got to Colorado. Colorado was when he was like, "God sent me, and this is God's mission," or whatever. I'm like, don't you don't have to do that to big up yourself.
The man lost 8 games this year. Now you give him credit; they won 3 more games than they did the previous year.
Exactly. Ooh. I think that's what everybody's trying to. Everybody's talking about the context of everything. This season is exactly,
but there is no context according to him. You got to take it objectively how it is right now.
If you turn on your television and look at ESPN, FS1, Fox Sports, CBS, whatever, they're talking about the game in front of them and the week in front of them. So why do people expect me just somehow to just don't say nothing about Deion until next year and just wait to see?
I didn't say not say anything, but when your post is every 3 posts is, oh, look at Deion now.
The reason why sportscasters talk about the Cowboys every like skip them because the Cowboys drive ratings. Either you hate the Cowboys or you really like them. So I like talking about Deion.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because I know it's going to piss people off, and I know it creates engagement.
But I think
it's a great conversation. But I mean what I'm saying though. The critiques are real. I ain't just talking just to be talking, right? I really mean the critiques that I have. And there are some people that say, "Man, you like what you're saying, man. Why you doing this?" Some people say, "Man, you wrong. You a hater. Why you hate black people?"
Listen, what was your issue with the Sports Illustrated magazine cover? What was your issue with that? About Deion Sanders.
Who said I had an issue with it?
Oh, you said name something that's wrong with this. Or I think your post was name something that's wrong with this picture or something.
No, it's supposed to be like open ended.
No,
he didn't say. All right.
Exactly.
How do you feel about it?
Hold on. I want to
answer your question on your post.
Exactly.
What
like, I don't. So I just ask questions. Go ahead, Los.
No. I wanted to get you to clarify. Like, well, what was the tweet again? Like, what did it say?
So I saw the picture this morning and I tweeted out and I said, "Do you agree or disagree?" Is it? Don't let's say it. Right. I just asked the question. Right?
So why
I didn't even say how I felt about it.
because the Sports Illustrated, I'm pretty sure they made him Sportsperson of the Year simply not because his record this year, but because of all the things he's brought to the sport. You know what I'm saying? Including a bag full of cash. I think that's that's the most important thing to them or anybody else in the industry.
It definitely ain't because of his record. It definitely because of the record.
So,
right?
but why would somebody disagree? I want to ask you, why would somebody disagree with that though? Since you said, do you agree or disagree with it?
If you go look at my post, you'll see there are several people that disagree. I mean, if you think about Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year, and I was looking at all the people who won it right before I clicked into this, everybody who won it for the past 30 years are people who were dominant in their respective sport. They won the championship. So this is the first time that somebody that was not dominant in their sport as a champion won. So people are baffled, like, why is he getting this award for people who are at the top of their game in their respective sport? Deion clearly is not at the top of his game in the sport of football. He might be at the top of his game in terms of marketing.
And views and marketing, all the shit that really matters for real. Yeah, and to them, he did dominate. He like, yeah, because look at all this money I done made off this nigga. So yeah,
I get it, but that just means the criteria has changed from what it meant in the past, right? Because in the past, it was like, let me show you. So last year, it was Steph Curry. They won the championship. The year before that, it was Tom Brady, championship. Naomi Osaka, tennis, she won the championship. Then LeBron James. Then Patrick Mahomes. You see the standard there. There are people that are top of their sport winning as the MVP, and all of a sudden the dude that lost 8 of 9 games gets Sportsman of the Year. Like, wouldn't you be baffled by that?
Well, let's see why. Okay, so I'm on Sports Illustrated website right now, and this is the explanation. Deion Sanders has been named Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year for 2023, a well-deserved honor for the Colorado Buffaloes coach. Per the announcement on Thursday morning, Coach Prime has taken Colorado to new heights with a complete overhaul of the football program in short period of time. Wow. Okay. The quote prime effect, unquote. First year applications are up 26% year over year. Black or African American applicants are up 80%. Non-resident applications are up 29.8%, but these are big numbers. And international applications are up 38% from 97 countries, including 16 that didn't have any applications last year. September sales of the school's online team store are up 2,500%. 2,500%. God damn, from 2022. Every home game in 50,000 seat was sold out. Every single one was sold out. Nigga, what? All right, so that's why this nigga got the Sports Illustrated of the Year, man. I'm just letting y'all know. All right, Sanders and the Buffs finished the season above expectations with the 4-8 record. Okay. Odds makers projected Prime's first season would garner 3.5 wins after he took over a program with a single victory. So he did higher expectations, Damien. The entire process came together for Sanders in a few weeks, with a majority flocking to Boulder. A few weeks? He only had a few weeks? With a majority flocking to Boulder via the transfer portal, with 80 new players in the news roster. Only 9. So, man, you comparing him to people who've had years, who've invested years of time and resources, you know what I'm saying, to creating a program. This dude only had a few weeks.
No, listen. I give him credit, for taking the team from 1 win to 4 wins. Now, when we say that, what the normal excuse when you have a coach come in their first year is they don't have their players, because in the past you didn't have the transfer portal and you can just bring players. Deion gutted the whole team and brought in 80 new players, as you said. So those are his players that he chose, and so whatever you see on the field is clearly on him, right? And I'll be honest with you, I watched every game. They should have won 6 games. Like, the team was good enough to win 6 games. They should be in a bowl right now. But it goes back to my critique. Deion's not a good coach. 2 teams off the top of my head right now that don't get enough credit. USF last year was 1-11. University of South Florida, they were 1-11. Matter of fact, Deion was talking with them to be hired by them before he went to Colorado. They finished the season 6-6 this year. They went from 1-11 to 6-6. It can be done. The University of Northwestern in the Big Ten, they were 1-11 and they finished this year 7-5. So both of those teams went from one win to now they're going to a bowl game, both with first-year coaches, right? So it can be done, right? And so I think Colorado was good enough to win. Like they blew the Stanford game. They should have won that game. That's 5 wins, right? And the Arizona game they could have won. They could have actually won the USC game. There are a couple situations where if some better coaching was in there, they would have won the ball game. There's some other critiques that I have of him too. So again, I like Deion.
But don't you think that's also the relationship in play? Like, yeah, he chose 80 players, but he have never yet met these players. He never formed a relationship, a working relationship.
That's not my problem. He chose them. That's how he want to run his program. You got to do.
He did. It say right here. He did higher than expectations. They only thought he was gonna get 3 wins. He got 4 wins. You know, and this with the experts.
I think that's phenomenal. I think it's phenomenal. But here's my thing, right? And I'll shut up so Power Player, my boy from Texas Southern, can get in here. What's up, brother? All roads lead. So, I'll say this last part. I love Deion's confidence, but as a first-year coach, he probably should have just shut his mouth, put his head down, and worked and learned how to be a day-to-day coach at this level. And then when you start winning, then you can run your mouth. I think he ran his mouth too much, and every week coaches came to blow him out.
Asking Deion not to be Deion is the reason that you brought him to the took him.
That's a good point.
HBCU University. You took him from a HBCU where he did great and amazing things. In a scenario like this, no other coach would be expected to do what Deion has done for the team in this short amount of time. Deion is one of the greatest players we've ever seen play football, baseball, and pretty much if he wanted to pick up a ping pong paddle, he probably would have dominated. And there's no question about that. When it comes to the expectations of these predominantly white institutions, coming there loud, and I agree with you guys, on coming loud, being that type of guy, being the showman, bringing the people out, bringing the artists out, it's a gift and a curse because what it does in one instance, it puts the limelight on you as a coach and on your players and on your new team. But the bad side of it is that if you don't win, no matter if it's 6 games or it's a whole 2 seasons, if you stink it up, now you're going to have so many critics who are going to say you look like a clown because you brought the circus to the school. And that's not their culture. That's not their culture. So, in the school now going, well, we didn't really need Lil Wayne, and maybe Offset was a distraction. Maybe we shouldn't have brought in the extra clown show and the watch and the whole night. I don't think Deion should have took a job like that. I think he went harder for the Buffalo fans, the university, and he could have saved some of that greatness to make the HBCU much greater. I think it's circus. Listen, we love a boom, 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 shake and get down. We black folks love entertainment. Bring that to us. He did bring some of it. People say, well, none of those celebs were at the games. Gillian Wallow, a lot of celebs came to those games. Lil Wayne did come see. That's what a lot of people don't know. Lil Wayne did come to some of the JSU games. It just limelight put on it because he's at, Colorado. So, I'm not mad at Deion at all. I'm not that mad because he took the opportunity. I know that he wants to get his boys into the pros at the end of the day. And I think that if that's what you're gunning for in the bigger picture is to get your much to a higher level. But I have a problem with him leaving his son out there on the field in these last couple of games, getting torn up and not having a backup for his son. You're sacrificing your son. If you want him to go to the NFL, which I don't know, he had a back injury, right?
Yep.
I don't know if he'll be NFL worthy because now he's damaged goods. And a back injury is something I've had And I know a back injury is nothing to play with. You'll never and you hurt your L4, L5, and S1. That's how good I know about back injuries because I just named all the lower vertebrae. I'm gonna leave it at
especially with that position he plays with in that position. Yeah,
it
can mean a lot because that got a lot to do with it too. But yeah, man, you said a lot right there. Dog. You know what I'm saying? Do you believe that he deserving of of Sportsman of the Year, Deion Sanders?
Of course he's deserving of it because he's prime time. There's no other prime time on the planet. So I believe he deserves it because you're taking someone who comes from nothing, who's done some of the greatest things in sports, and this is just the pinnacle of what he can do. I think that Travis came back too soon, in my opinion, because even if a kid wants to come back, I don't think a coach should bring a player back that soon. But he had to show and prove, right? Coaches have been doing that since the beginning of the time. Deion is not exclusive, any different from any other coaches who's put a kid back in the game. But we just talking about Deion. Yeah, he deserved it.
Yeah, Deion Sanders say right here that he's the first African American coach to earn this title. Come on, hey Damien, I ain't heard you this quiet in a minute, Damien. Like the overall story is the reason why people give him his accolades. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I want to know next year is gonna be the year. Like he didn't work out all the kinks, he didn't work out all the issues.
I'm gonna call the sport for what the sport is. I can look like I'm a big Kobe fan, but when Kobe's last couple of years, he was shooting some horrible shots, and I would call it out. Right? I don't care who you are. I like Deion. I want to see him do well, but as Power Player said, he's not a good coach. Right? You just heard he said it too, and I said it before he came on. He's not good. Good coach.
Did say it. He did say that.
Didn't get rid of the play calling coach with some little thing they were talking about. He was sabotaging play. I heard something like he was sabotaging the play calling, or I don't know, like what was going on. But I know that one of his most trusted coaches was released or whatever. I just think it's a frustration thing where somebody's got to take this blame because I got to try to get this paper. I got to try to.
He was throwing people under the bus, dog. Every press conference, he's throwing people under the bus.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing that comes with Deion. Deion is he's a narcissist, bro.
Come on, let's call it for what it is. Oh
man,
let's call it for what it is.
Listen. You have to be a narcissist. I could be greater if I had more narcissism, bro. I could actually have about 300 more followers if I was more narcissistic. And there's something about that personality that allows you to go to the top.
Yeah. See, no,
dragging Deion right now, dog.
No, but to your point, like I agree. Ego is good. A moderate amount of ego is good for everybody. So I don't have a problem with the ego and the narcissism. You need it in order to get to the highest levels to be able to withstand the critiques and the criticism. And you got to believe in yourself more than anybody else. And so you need a strong ego and a little narcissism to be able to work through that. I'm with that. My issue is his day-to-day coaching. And that team is not ready to play. It's the worst defense in the country. They can't run the ball. They're horrible on third down, right? And then you fire your OC in the middle of the season. You're leaving Travis out there to get hurt. Travis shouldn't be going both ways. He ain't that big in the first place. And then your offensive line is the worst in the country. Those are coaching issues.
Yeah, offensive line. They were walking through the offensive line the last 3 games.
So that's my critique. It ain't about him as a person. My critiques are football related, and people can't see through that because they don't like to see a black man being critiqued because this is such a feel-good story. So if you're a black man critiquing another black man, you don't like black people. Like, no, that ain't what it is. I'm just strictly talking football.
Man, listen, we have to be able to critique our brothers and sisters and be honest with people. That it's one thing to be honest, and it's another thing to tear somebody's down. Nobody's done down. Nobody's saying that narcissism for a super athlete is a bad thing. You have to have checks and balances. The brother wears JC for Jesus Christ on his plea, for Christ's sake. So it's, we know that he's grounded in the Lord, but God got to pay him. And everybody's different in what they believe. I'm not trying to force belief.
No one's above criticism. But as far as tearing the black man down narrative or whatever, I'm not on that train, and I don't think anybody saying that you are. I was just trying to understand the post. That's all I was pretty much what I was trying to get my head around.
See, but my thing is this also, like, we as black people, we've got to do a better job of getting out of our feelings and be able to have conversations where black people are being critiqued, right? There are some trifling black people in this country when we talk about crime and doing bad things, and we got to be able to talk about it, right? And call it out. And that don't mean you are anti-black or you a coon or whatever the case may be. That just means you're just having a real conversation, right? And that's the same thing for me when it comes to this part. Like I told you, I wanted to be like Deion as a kid. I love Deion. I bought tickets to one of the games. I paid $900 for tickets to one of those games in Colorado, and I gave them away. I gave them away. So if I don't like the man, why would I spend $1,000 on tickets to support him, right? See, I like what's going on, but I'm going to, especially if I spend money, I'm going to offer a critique, an honest football critique.
If I'm doing something, I can do it better. I know I would know it's from a place of love. I mean, ain't nobody calling him out his name.
I got his page up right now, his post. He said, do you agree or disagree with this magazine cover? ? We give awards out now based on feelings and zero production. Zero production. Wow. Love prime players person, but as would say, quote unquote, come on, man. Oh man, so people are hitting hard. They going in. Folks are coming at Deion a little bit.
Yeah, they saying Jackson State people are gonna be mad about it and his success, because a lot of people in Jackson, I think Charles said it earlier, he didn't like how Deion left Jackson. He did leave Jackson in a very tacky way. Deion's a tacky person. Let me just add that too. He's very tacky in a lot of things. He left Jackson in a very tacky way too.
So listen. I can say something to the deal of working with our people, and I love my HBCU, Texas Southern University in Houston. Greatest feeling I've ever had working with my people, having a black boss and a black boss's boss on top of it. Dude, the politics amongst your people is different between the politics in the dominant society. I worked at Texas Southern University. All that stuff that Deion went through, I went through that same stuff. People, faculty, staff drinking on campus, hitting the corner, trying to go get some Frenchies and some liquor, and for having it in front of students, breaking it out in the admissions office. We as black people gotta be realistic when it comes to the shit we do. We have to be honest about how we can do better. We want to say things about our brother leaving, but if you haven't worked in a place with your own people and how we treat each other, and we need to do better, then it's hard for people to understand that, man. I hated leaving. I hated the leaving, and under the circumstances, I had to leave because of the influence and what I did. I brought white collar IT and skills ahead of the game to Texas Southern when they still wasn't on the newest standard of tech and Windows and Office, and I brought that to them. And the president at the time and his road dog, vice president, had my job clipped and didn't renew my contract over a female. They didn't even want to hear my side. A female,
AKA nigga shit. That's some nigga shit. Let's be honest.
I did not want to be down with, because of the culture that go on in the politics. I didn't want to mess with her. I'm married, right? Tell her I'm married. So she started doing stuff to mess my job up. They believe her because they was like, why you ain't hit that thing? They was like, you a man. I'm like, listen, I don't want to bother me. I can get on the phone with my wife, and this chick would start talking about when we going to lunch in the background. That's how bad it was. So
that's
the checks and balances that we have to deal with in professionalism at our own places that we own and have for work, like the goddamn on turkey leg cut. The checks and balances we have. all that. We got to get to a point where we got to be honest with ourselves. If we get reparations, we got to learn how to handle business, stop being unprofessional, and stop doing stuff to hurt each other. They stole Deion chains at their school because they know he had paper already. Man, ain't nobody trying to have their chain and their jewelry stole just because they feel good about themselves and they rich. They trying to bring something to the culture to the school. I ain't saying Deion perfect. You know, I'm just saying that if a man gonna work, let's say it's with Ed Reed, with Bethune-Cookman, same thing.
I was about to bring that up.
Yeah, they fired him because he was posting live, which is against your contract. You can't say things and post live as a faculty or staff and show the degradation of bad things at a university. But Ed was just like, man, I don't understand this. I've been with the NFL with them people that's got endless money, the Shield, and I don't understand them leaving equipment out, letting it mildew, and the kids. Ed was bringing up real stuff about kids being having spores around them and black spores and stuff.
Right.
So he had to speak up. You know, I don't know. Maybe he could have put some more NFL buddies in, and they could have put some paper together for them. But man, you know, you see our universities don't get the funding. They say the funding be coming, but we don't know where our university's funding. It's so much politics, man. The money be there. It be hanging in the clouds somewhere. Biden says it's over there. Trump said it was over there. We seen the money and they say cut the check. But who got the check when it comes to getting new equipment? Why the kids got to put on old soggy tennis shoes and they ain't got no money to be able to, you know, we gotta figure out how we can clean up our house before we can go critique anybody else's. We do have black universities. We got more black universities over here than the Africa got.
So you believe Deion he left because of, you know what I'm saying, getting robbed and the security and all that stuff and just not feeling welcome?
All that ignorance.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to curse on your cast, but it makes me mad.
You got
it makes me mad, bro, because I've been through that and I loved working there, bro. I wasn't even about the money because I got paid less. It was a state, but it was the fact that you in an environment where you helping these youth come in and, you know, kids are coming from all kind of places, foreigners coming from all
right.
And here you got this element of people that graduated from the U and they doing stuff that's a bad look to the U. I'm gonna tell you one thing. One with the girl that I was telling you about did, okay? Michael Strahan went to school with me at Westbury High School, played with my brother, and he left when he left right after Coach Houston played the Houston Oilers wide receiver. But he left us and went on. I think he moved to Colorado or something like that. Went to TSU, came back with the TSU, and then he went to NFL. This girl was so thrown off. She went and pulled Michael Strahan's grades, which nobody's supposed to have like the access. She had higher access. And he came to this campus to donate money to the campus. She was such a hater. She pulled up his stuff in front of all her students, showing all these F's and D's on his grades. And she showed all the. She was like, look, he just a big dummy.
He's just a big dummy.
That's the type of stuff that make you give up on your before we just knock Deion down too bad. And Ed Reed and all these brothers. Deion was bringing brothers from the NFL that's retired, saying, man, I got a purpose. Everybody abandoned HBCUs once again because I'm gonna call it the Deion effect.
So they came because of the Deion, and then they left because of Deion.
Of course.
Did you support a black-owned business today? T-shirts available. It's gonna be available. It's gonna be in the links down there in the description. You know what I'm saying? I got my hat. I got the merch. I got my hat for the channel too. AB American Black Enterprise. Oh, it's a little baby. It's a little baby. Oh, look at that. Somebody ain't having a good time.
I know. It's milk. Hey, y'all. Hey, check out Power Players Magazine, the website, thepowerplayersmagazine.com. I appreciate Lowski every time he put up one of these great podcasts. He gonna blow up in this game. All you gotta do is keep on putting him on. And y'all don't forget to support black truck drivers too.